Coming up on this special edition of the newsfeed, COVID-19 and its impact on the New River Valley and across the state of Virginia.
We'll take a look at some of the different ways the coronavirus has completely flipped lives and professions upside down.
And we'll see how most are adapting to the radical changes as a result of the spread of COVID-19.
I'm Skylar Atkins.
I'm Sloan Miner.
I'm Troy Clark. This special edition of the newsfeed starts now.
Welcome to this special edition of the newsfeed. I'm Skylar Atkins. First responders have become a necessity now more than ever. During the coronavirus pandemic, first responders are the first line of defense in dealing with potentially infected patients. When they are called, they often know little about a patient's condition or circumstances. Newsfeed reporter Dan Dembski tells us more in this story.
First responders have become a necessity now more than ever. During the coronavirus pandemic, first responders are the first line of defense in dealing with potentially infected patients. When they are called, they often know little about a patient's condition or circumstances.
We are donning PPE, personal protective equipment, prior to entering the houses, even if the patient doesn't present with the initial symptoms of the disease or virus and that kind of stuff.
Like Nathan, first responders often find themselves having to make life-saving decisions to prepare a patient for a stay in a hospital. With COVID-19 patients rising, reports about medical professionals lacking proper PPE have been on the rise. The N95 mask is the main source of protection for first responders.
Both first responders I talked to mentioned that they seem to have a large amount of N95 masks and proper PPE now. However, the county level is searching for more ways to secure more. They both shared a common thread, selflessly serving the community during this tough time of COVID-19.
But you're also there to do your job, and that's kind of the main focus of it whenever you're on the clock. But there is a very humbling factor of what can this do and how can I affect this whole thing going on.
Reporting for the newsfeed, I'm Dan Dembski.
College students across the nation have been told that their semesters are being finished at home, online. While their learning environments are essentially empty, hospitals are overflowing, and COVID-19 is everywhere. What happens when these two factors come together? Nursing students, at the request of the hospitals, have been asked to leave to protect both the students and patients. The hospital experience is typically very beneficial for the students, especially seeing how the healthcare system responds in the middle of a pandemic. Being removed in the middle of the semester, what do senior nursing students who need these hours and experiences to graduate do? Faculty at Longwood University in Farmville, Virginia, have an idea.
They're missing that opportunity to become more confident in their role as a new nurse. And they benefit so much from having that hands-on that's over that extended period of time.
All nursing professors, like Dr. Jackie Daniel, are following the learning curve, as having online simulations are not nearly as effective as having hands-on experience in the hospital. However, through the use of video calling, online simulations, and follow-up testing, students are still learning. Due to COVID-19, public schools in Virginia, along with many across the country, have been shut down for the remainder of the school year. This has impacted students and their parents in a big way, but what does this change mean for public school teachers? Newsfeed reporter Sarah Carr tells in this next story.
With public schools across Virginia shutting down due to COVID-19, students and teachers alike have been adjusting to remote education. Jennifer LaRue, a kindergarten teacher at Potomac Elementary in Sterling, Virginia, says that the transition from the classroom to the computer has been challenging due to the young age of her students.
In kindergarten, we're not able to do as much online teaching just because they're 5. And so we have an outline of things that we're supposed to do that we give them once a week, and it's optional if they'd like to do it or not.
Although there is no strict grading, Jennifer and the rest of her kindergarten team are trying to keep things as normal as possible, continuing activities like reading to their students, only this time through YouTube videos.
Not seeing my students is making me really, really sad. A lot of them really need a good hug every day, and they're not getting that, and it also makes my day to see their faces every day.
Usually at this time, the parking lot behind me is filled with buses and parents waiting to pick up their children from school. Now that classes have moved to online, the school and its amenities remain unused the rest of the year. Teacher at Dominion High School in Sterling, Virginia, Emery Henderson McCann, says that although leaving the classroom was a challenging adjustment, it's the unknown that really makes this change difficult.
I have a sequence that I want to keep for my students. I want to make sure that we don't lag in any area. And right now I feel like we are all ready to work. Like we've got things going, but then we went, stop.
Despite offering classwork and at-home activities to students, on both ends of the spectrum, the students' overall health and safety were the teacher's #1 priority. Reporting for the newsfeed, I'm Sarah Carr.
The U.S. economy has recently taken a big hit as the nation aims to calm the widespread panic amidst the coronavirus pandemic. As people isolate themselves in their home, less money is circulating around local and international businesses. However, as newsfeed reporter Lily Savin reports, it seems some are using the panic to their advantage.
The world is holding its breath. As the number of coronavirus cases increases, state and federal restrictions on human activity have become more severe. In Blacksburg, residents have been issued a stay-at-home order, making this the quietest spring the town has ever seen. Some of those impacted include students at Virginia Tech and small businesses around town. Non-essential businesses like salons and boutiques have temporarily closed their doors, packing hard punch on the town's economy. As human activity is being restricted, it's easy to wonder if any business is doing well at all. But for companies like Kroger and Amazon, customer traffic has gone through the roof as people scramble for essential goods.
Since we can't go anywhere, people are opting to use a lot more delivery services, and they know that Amazon has a reliable delivery service. So I think that is causing, revenue and traffic to go up during this time.
Other businesses aren't so lucky. As revenue decreases, unemployment rates have risen, and those just entering the workforce watch as their start dates are being postponed.
So because of COVID-19, I was offered a job, but unfortunately they're unable to give me a start date because of everything going on.
It seems that now, the most anyone can do is wait.
The nation are taking precautions to ensure customer safety in a unique way. Many stores have started hosting special shopping hours for the elderly. The dedicated shopping hours are being offered on specific days to customers who are 60 and up, and they are encouraged to shop for their needs during early morning hours, such as from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. at the Christiansburg Walmart. Tisa Witt, a Walmart cashier, says that elderly hours have been beneficial to more people than expected.
Don't have to come in with the craziness of everybody else, and I think it helps to keep them from being exposed to the other dangers that the rest of us are, because obviously you're not in there with as many people. It's a controlled environment. Also, they're getting first picks at a lot of things because most of our stocking happens overnight. So I think it's really helping them to be able to get what they need. So I think minimal risk and maximum outcome.
Elderly hours will be offered through the month of April. Stay with us. There are more stories ahead on the newsfeed after this short break.
Welcome back to the newsfeed. I'm Sloan Miner. Restaurants and businesses across the country are suffering major losses due to the coronavirus. In Montgomery County, most restaurants normally count on up to 85% of business coming from college students. With the majority of students away from Virginia Tech's campus, a new program has been launched to help counteract the losses. Newsfeed reporter Andrew Webb has more in this report.
It's no secret the coronavirus has affected the lives of everyone. Casey Jenkins, the executive director of Downtown Blacksburg Incorporated, says for local restaurants and businesses in Montgomery County, a new initiative called Takeout Takeover has been started to help these businesses survive.
We're encouraging the consumer or the patron to go to any local service retail business of any kind.
When consumers do shop at these places, they will be entered into a daily drawing for a gift card. In order to win, shoppers must take a picture, include the place, and the hashtag #TakeoutTakeover.
The success is going to be predicated on how much it's shared. I think that, again, if I share with all my friends, you share with all yours, each business then takes pictures that they were tagged in, and they continue to share as well. That's how we spread the word.
The program will continue through April 10th with the goal of being able to keep the doors of local businesses open longer.
Many local restaurants and grocery stores have started their own delivery services, some going as far as to leaving it on the door to avoid face-to-face contact.
Blacksburg residents, such as Jen Cardone, believe it's important to help these businesses in any way possible.
It's my responsibility to try and eat out and shop locally as much as I possibly can. Obviously, I can't do it every single day, but when I'm able to, I want to make sure that I do that and support them.
Virginia Tech and the town of Blacksburg have dealt with tough times before, but as always, tough people outlast tough times. Reporting for the newsfeed, I'm Andrew Webb.
The food industry has taken a hit like no other as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Some restaurants sit empty, some have closed for good, and some are open strictly for takeout and delivery only. How are these food deliveries being handled when physical distancing is necessary to stop the spread of the virus? Newsfeed reporter Asia Shepard tells us in this next story.
As you can see, Price's Fork Road has had little to no cars coming and going since Virginia Tech suspended all classes and activities for the rest of the semester. University Crossroads Center has seen a decline of traffic as well. Customers. Restaurants on this strip include Tropical Smoothie, McAllister's, Chipotle, and more. DoorDash customer Leona Monroe was afraid to use DoorDash but quickly realized she had no choice.
Yes, well, I typically use DoorDash, Grubhub, and sometimes Uber Eats. This past Monday, I actually used DoorDash just to get some food because I didn't make it out to the grocery store. And of course, I was skeptical of using it. There's just so much going on. You don't really know who's sick and who's infected by the virus. So, yes, I was very scared to go ahead and order it, but sometimes you just have to. But the delivery guy was pretty nice, and I definitely used gloves to make sure that I was protected.
DoorDash employee Alex Young spoke on how DoorDash is ensuring the safety of employees and customers.
Drivers are taking responsibility for the orders. They're having with them the necessary tools as well with the restaurants that were partnered with us.
Let's all do our part by staying inside and stopping the spread of COVID-19. I'm Asia Shepard reporting.
Recently, Virginia Tech announced the imminent closure of all non-essential services on campus due to the COVID-19 outbreak. Among these services were most dining halls for on-campus students. Virginia Tech Dining Services relies on a great number of student employees to keep everything running smoothly. When dining halls closed, these employees were left with little to no guidance about the future of their job. In the majority of cases, these student workers depend on the income they earn to pay rent, utilities, and even school tuition.
That's kind of like heartbreaking to me because I had a good job that has benefits for their wage workers, but I didn't have those benefits because I'm an hourly worker, and so I have no relief. And if I were in the position to, I'd be putting my health on the line to make sure I was still making money.
Virginia Tech Dining Services has been communicating with their employees about potential relief measures. One such measure is the typical bonus given to employees that work a certain number of hours, which Baldacci revealed would not be given to those not already scheduled to meet the threshold. The word essential is defined as something or someone who is absolutely necessary, indispensable. Lately, the word essential has been used by state governments to determine which businesses stay open and which employees continue working in the coronavirus outbreak. Here's Newsfeed reporter Tyler Heppel.
Parking lots that were once full are now empty. Unless you're essential, you're in quarantine. Businesses once flourishing with customers now use big bold signs to let customers know they're still open. And those affected by the pandemic needed to find new jobs quick.
So I got laid off of my part-time job at the university bookstore on campus. So I had to find a new job at a grocery store here in Blacksburg. So I applied to a bunch of grocery stores, and I finally got a job at Food Lion down here.
Grocery stores, one industry that still thrives, remain open to provide communities the necessities they need to get by during quarantine.
Toilet paper has been a hot commodity in this pandemic, and essential employees like Sarah will make sure we're stocked up with our bathroom essentials.
Because people are hoarding items like toilet paper and stuff, they need people to restock all the shelves. And everyone is buying a bunch of food for the quarantine, so they need a bunch of people.
We rely more now than ever on our essential employees as they still go to work each day in light of the COVID-19 virus.
I'm Ariadne Manikis. With the growing threat of COVID-19 around the world, it's no surprise that people are hesitant to travel. Travel restrictions have been put in place worldwide, including mandatory 2-week quarantines upon entering a country, travel bans, and other restrictions.
These restrictions are not only affecting airlines and large hotel chains, they're affecting individuals and small businesses that rely on tourism for their livelihood. Organized travel has also taken a hit and will continue to do so as long as social distancing guidelines remain in effect.
Travel company employees say COVID-19 has caused companies to panic, leaving them hoping that they have enough capital to survive the downturn in tourism.
They're in a bit of a difficult position because they have canceled pretty much all the trips they were expecting to run for the spring, and I have a feeling as well that that's going to go on long into the summer and possibly into the fall as well.
Airbnb hosts and vacation rental landlords say the outbreak has caused their business to stop cold. One landlady says her vacation tenants have been abandoning their leases and she's now struggling to pay her bills.
Bracing for not being able to pay my mortgages, that are the last date is the 15th. I've applied for a home equity line. I'm waiting to hear for the approval of that so that I could cover those payments.
Even after this outbreak ends, experts say it could take up to a year for the travel industry to recover. Reporting for the Newsfeed, I'm Ariadne Manikis.
Stay with us. There are more stories ahead on the Newsfeed after this short break.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to the Newsfeed. I'm Troy Clark. While COVID-19 has forced athletics of all levels to pause, it is not as simple as just pressing play for all sports to resume. Newsfeed reporter Christian Klein has more on this story.
The spread of the novel coronavirus, or COVID-19, has affected everyday life for millions of Americans. This includes sports, where all activity has seemingly come to a halt. The Athletic Coast Conference suspended, then later canceled all athletics for the academic year. While athletes are disappointed, the ripple effects of these decisions are wide-reaching.
Sports will go on social media. They can play reruns as much as they like, but if there's no live sports being played, then there's not really any new money coming in, and there's no one to work and get that money. So it's like a big part of the, economy that's now not making money. A lot of us are freelance, not really even on a part-time or full-time contract. So we don't necessarily have the same type of protections that a lot of other people who are losing their jobs have.
The economy isn't the only thing taking a big hit. The eligibility of athletes has come into question as well. On March 31st, the NCAA gave special permission for athletes in spring sports to receive an extra year of eligibility. This ruling, while useful for the athletes, puts into question the recruiting by coaches for incoming players. The hazy situation doesn't stop there either. The potential restart of athletics in the fall creates a congestion issue for TV networks.
Some of the bigger TV truck companies are saying that even though there's nothing going on right now, they are preparing for a much more dense schedule and aren't convinced that there's going to be enough trucks to cover everything that the networks want covered.
Reporting for the newsfeed, I'm Christian Klein.
Athletes and coaches are continuing to adapt to the sudden change the coronavirus pandemic has brought on. Newsfeed reporter Will Pearson tells us how Virginia Tech athletes and coaches are coming to terms with the shutdown of their sports.
Sporting events around the globe have one by one become canceled. College sports has especially been hit by this pandemic, as major tournaments and whole seasons have been canceled. The basketball season at Virginia Tech was wrapping up as they were on the fence on getting an NIT tournament bid. With that being canceled, the team got some much-needed break time, but it has been a challenge for coaches.
You know, our players aren't in the gym, our players aren't even on campus. There's nowhere to physically go recruiting. So, I mean, the days I would admit are a little shorter.
As coaches are adapting to the situation, it is the student athletes who have been hit the hardest. Some athletes were cut short of tournaments and others whose whole seasons did not even begin. Brian LaPrade, a fifth-year senior wrestler who was preparing to go to the NCAA qualifiers. But then the news broke.
Like, oh, here we go. Then he broke news to us, and it sucked. It sucked at first. We were all sitting there like, damn, like half of us just walk out the room because, you know, you hear something bad or get something bad situation, kind of want to be alone and stuff like that.
While Brian put his heart and soul into this sport, it had to come to an unexpected end. But he had some encouraging words to say for other student athletes out there.
Go out in every match like it's your last match. It doesn't matter if you're a wrestler or not, like even if it's a track and field or your last event and stuff like that.
Reporting for the newsfeed, I'm Will Pearson.
Social or physical distancing has been touted as the one foolproof way of stopping the spread of COVID-19. The Blacksburg community is just one example of many communities encouraging its residents to practice physical distancing. But as Newsfeed reporter Luke Sullivan reports, some Blacksburg organizations have been making a great effort to stay connected with their community while separated.
The separation of communities can lead to isolation and overall affect mental health poorly. This could be the case for people who normally attended places like gyms and churches in the community before the outbreak.
But also, they don't have this as an outlet. So not only are they kind of stuck in a situation that is creating probably some anxiety because of the health issues, some depression because they're stuck inside their house and can only go outside to exercise.
With the new stay-at-home order issued by Governor Northam, people have begun to feel torn away from their social lives.
The novel coronavirus has attacked communities all around the world, but some are fighting back. Whether it be through social media or recorded appearances, Blacksburg communities are making an effort to stay connected.
Staying connected with one another through this outbreak is on Blacksburg Christian Fellowship's top priority as they face the virus together.
Oh yeah, we've bought several Zoom licenses, so seems like Zoom's the way to go nowadays. And so we have lots of our small group Bible studies that we call community groups. They're all meeting.
Reporting for the newsfeed, I'm Luke Sullivan.
I'm RJ Garza. Many students at Virginia Tech traveled to many places around the U.S. and maybe even the world. But when they returned from break, they came back to a much different town than they left. With many rules set in place by the federal government and the state government, it's difficult now for students to figure out how they can still maintain the college experience.
All extracurriculars I've been involved in have been canceled. Graduation, that's a bit sad. I got an email today that said I graduated with honors and there was a video attached to it. And that was the celebration of that instead of getting a little ceremony and whatever. So that's a little disappointing.
And now, seniors at Virginia Tech are trying to figure out how to make these last few weeks of college memorable.
There are ways that the university is trying to help that with how we can create online experiences, how we can create the right virtual experience for commencement, and what the activities are going up. I know that our alumni organization is working hard to think about how to help engage with seniors, and then maybe over a longer time frame than it would normally take, but keep engaging and making sure that the seniors are both honored and respected for the milestone.
In the long run, the sacrifices that people are making in this time of quarantining and social distancing is for the greater good of our world. For Virginia Tech students, this is the perfect opportunity to show people what Ut Prosa means. I'm RJ Garza, reporting for the newsfeed.
Property management companies and renters are trying to find a middle ground as the first rent checks are now due since the spread of the coronavirus has escalated in the U.S. As newsfeed reporter Ryan Naki tells us, the two sides are making an effort to find a balance.
Property managers across the Commonwealth are scrambling to figure out how to deal with the ongoing coronavirus pandemic, as well as how to best protect both owners and tenants. The pandemic has caused financial harm to many industries and workplaces across the nation. With businesses closing, employees are being let go in huge numbers. But without an income, some residents have few options in regard to paying their rent. The pandemic also puts property owners and managers in a tough situation, as they often need rent money to pay for upkeep and maintenance.
Well, I'm reaching out to my tenants to see if they're in financial difficulties, and if they are, then we're going to be working out some sort of a plan. We're all in this together, and we're going to come up with a solution that is going to help everyone.
Many other companies are doing similar things in an attempt to help ease the burden on tenants, whether it's cutting the amount of rent that tenants owe or eliminating late fees. States themselves are also attempting to help the situation. As of April 1st, 29 states and the District of Columbia had suspended all evictions and foreclosures until a later date. The Supreme Court of Virginia suspended new eviction cases for tenants unable to pay rent through April 6th.
So one thing my landlord is doing that we're definitely grateful for is they're closing the on-site gym that we have in our complex, and they're minimizing the maintenance requests to just like essential only. So basically just to make sure that everything's safe and like working well and things are comfortable.
For both renters and property managers, the coming months will likely be tough. But with cooperation and understanding on both sides of the issue, we will all get through it. Reporting from Blacksburg, I'm Ryan Naki.
That will wrap it up for this special edition of the Newsfeed. For Skylar Adkins and Sloan Miner, I'm Troy Clark. Thanks for watching.